In 1939 and 1945, roughly 11 million people were killed in the Holocaust. 6 million of that were Jews, 5 million were other races that did not conform to the Aryan code set by the Nazis. Roughly 7,000 people were deemed fit enough to be experimented on by Nazis. This is from Wikipedia, last accessed December 6th, 2020. Today, I'm going to try to persuade you on why we should use these Nazi experiments, the research that has been done today. I'm going to talk to you about the three categories of experiments, the ethical dilemma of the use of these results, as well as what have we learned from these results. The three main experiments were survival of military personnel. This was performed in Dachau. Drugs and their treatments, performed at Buchenwald and Natzweiler. And the advancement of racial and ideological goals. The survival of military personnel testing, what they tried to do was high altitude experiments where they tested to see how parachutes worked, as well as what it would cause to a human body to fall from thousands and thousands of feet. Hypothermia, what would happen if a person crashed into, or a Nazi soldier crashed into a lake? How could they revive a person from that? And methods to make seawater drinkable. Their drugs and their treatments. At Buchenwald, they tested immunizations for malaria and typhus, as well as many other known viruses, to see how effective their treatments can be. At Natzweiler, they tested mustard gas and phosgene for antidotes. The advancement of their racial and ideological goals were testing on how different races withstood contagious diseases, such as how African Americans handled malaria, or Africans handled malaria, how Jews withstood gout and other types of diseases. They also tested a number of methods for racial sterilization. Horrible, horrible conditions that these people were subjected to. These treatments were so gruesome and extreme that doctors today have decided only a colossally important objective can justify using these results from 70 years ago. The EPA has barred the use of Nazi data on phosgene. Phosgene is a toxic gas used in the making of pesticides. When inhaled, it leads to death by drowning by creating a film on your lungs and basically just filling it with liquid. This was done from the jewishvirtuallibrary.org on the ethics of using medical data for Nazi experiments. What have we learned today? We have the Nuremberg Code because of this. The Nuremberg Code basically is the medicine code of ethics. Because of all of these trials that went on, they needed, after World War II, they needed a place to say, you can't do this, but you can do this. This is acceptable. This is not. We also learned that death from dehydration looks like high-speed kidney failure. This is from Stockton Richard on allthat'sinteresting.com, last accessed November 30th, 2020. Today, I have shown you what the three categories of experiments that were done, some of the ethical dilemmas that are being talked about today to use these results, and what we have learned from these experiments. And a quote from Anonymous. Nor, however, should we let the inhumanity of such experiments blind us to the possibility that some good may be salvaged from these ashes. My final piece on this is I'm not trying to say what the Nazis did was good at all. Being Jewish, this is a very difficult subject to talk about. But I am saying that what we have learned, how well documented everything is and everything was well known for during World War II, there has to be something that we can learn from all of that today. And not only that, there are so many advancements in medical science today that were not at all possible until these experiments took place.